My name is Kenton White, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer with DISTIL Interactive. We do just serious games, you know.
Just do that.
Just do serious games. We're focused on serious games, and we're focused on making games for corporations, for corporate organizations. We sell to a lot of corporate organizations. We just came back from the largest e-learning show last week, where we had Best in Show for our product about doing an ISO environmental management system. Okay. Yeah, really business oriented, and also a best supplier. So that was really cool, and it really validates our approach to customers because it was voted on by the attendees of the show, who are, for the most part, corporate customers in various corporations. Games are really, really great because things that we in the game space take for granted, such as, you know, really engaging, immersive graphics and content, things multiplayer, so getting people to play together, dynamic adaptive AI that changes the difficulty based on your play, and now being able to make your own custom content. These are things we take for granted in the game space, that this is what people in the corporate learning space really want out of their training, and they want it out of their computer-based training. It's just, you know, the challenge is when we go in and we talk to corporations to help them see all the benefits of games and not see them as it's a game, it's something my kid is playing. It's almost like going in and trying to talk to someone about how you can use books for learning if the only book they've ever seen is Dick and Jane when they were growing up. Well, we've got, you know, there's lots of examples. I'm going to talk about the example of what won Best in Show last week, and about why the corporate training people really, really loved it. It's about implementing an ISO 14,000 environmental management system. This is really, really important for businesses today, especially with all the talks about the greenhouse gases in Kyoto, that they have an environmental management system. The problem that they face is that the person who's going to be tasked with this, environmental management representative, they've probably never done this before. This is the first one they're doing. They maybe will never do it again, and for the corporation, this is something that's going to take 18 to 24 months, cost them millions of dollars, and the key person is learning on the job. Maybe they go and they have 3 to 5 days of training, but the training is not about how to do the implementation. It's about, do you know what you should do in the implementation? A big difference. So with a game, as opposed to more traditional training, you can actually do an implementation. You can do it from beginning to end in under an hour. And you can do it with many different kinds of scenarios. You can do one where you want to make just the best environmental management system one has ever seen. And you can also play the game to do it on a budget. You know, you don't have much money. You can do it, you know, you can do it really, really quickly. We've got to get it going, or else we're going to lose this account. And so you have all these different scenarios that you can do. This helps a person become familiar with what they're doing, so that they're not learning on the job. They've already done it many, many times before they do it in your company. Time compression is something we really talk about. And this is an excellent point, because many corporate trainers are still thinking in the terms of how many hours of classroom training does a game provide. And one of the great benefits of a game is that if a person knows how to do it, and they can demonstrate how to do it in a game, and they can do it in half an hour, then they can get back to their job, back to what you're paying them, instead of sitting in a class for 8 hours. Effectiveness is a very hard thing to measure, even with traditional training. Most of what we do for measuring effectiveness is that we do pre-post tests, and we ask to see, has the person's knowledge changed before and after the training. We also do teacher or course evaluations to say, did you think this was useful? In those cases, we're asking the person who was learning what they thought they learned, and did they think it was effective. With a game, we can actually measure what they can do and what they learned. So we're not just doing multiple choice. And this was one of the big messages that people really were impressed with, is that we could, after they played this game, instead of asking them a quiz and saying, so should you do this or should you do that, we were able to give them a personalized assessment that says, this is what you did, and this means that you need to focus on this aspect, and here's more material, you can link it online to go get. We also can say, you really have showed that you mastered this, so we reinforce the message. And that is taking it to the next, really the next level, beyond just, here's a quiz of what do you know and did you think you learned. Now we're still exploring, and we're still figuring all of this stuff out, but this is one of the great potential for games in training. We believe two things. One, you can learn a lot from games. And two, that games will become as easy to use as PowerPoint, that games will become a communication tool. So while we're very focused on the corporate market, it's a large market. It's $65 billion a year, larger than the video game market. We believe that games are going to become more than just training. That games are going to be used as a communication tool. That we're going to use games to not just communicate about training and what we do in an organization, but we're going to use them for things we can't even imagine, for discussing corporate figures, for giving information about new products to people. I mean, imagine a world where instead of seeing a video of Steve Jobs showing you an iPhone, you're playing a game about the iPhone to learn all about the features. So this is where we think it's going to be going, and that's what we're focused on doing, is not just making great games for corporate clients, which is what we do today, but making tools to help corporate clients make games in about an afternoon. At this show, at Montreal International Games Summit, in my session about how to talk to corporations about games, what we did was we did a lot of interactive role plays. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to make a game out of that, and it's going to be up on the web on Monday. It's going to be at www.migs-sandbox.com. And not only are you going to be able to play the game, but you're going to be able to change the game using the tools that we envision corporations using to make content. So you can see it next week.
All right.
If you want.
Perfect. But is this, can we buy this? Can people
Not yet,
okay.
But we are going to be releasing the first version in the first quarter of the new year of 2009.
Great.
And that's going to be available.